I'd like to welcome you all to this presentation. It's on strengthening families against abuse and addictions for Indigenous people. My name is Albert Pooley, and I'm the president of the Native American Fatherhood and Family Association. Our offices are here in Mesa, Arizona. We're very fortunate because we work with over 350 Native American tribes throughout North America. This first part of the presentation is about our philosophy as an organization. Our philosophy is based upon families. We say the family is the heart of our Native American culture. Because of that, there is no other work more important than your role as a father and a mother. We make that very clear to all of our participants. Now, when you're going to work with our people, we tell them there's some things that you need to understand. First of all, I don't care if you have a degree. I don't care if you're Native American. I don't care if you had experience. The thing I'm really concerned about is number one, you must truly love the people whom you serve. That's critical. Why? Because love starts the healing process. It repairs relationships. It bonds and unites. It creates a positive change for growth and development. Number two, you must love what you bring to the people you serve. That's very critical. Why? Love is the power that initiates, motivates, inspires change. It starts the feeling of understanding, respect, and also tolerance. That's why we say loving the people whom you serve and loving what you bring to them is critical when you work with people. Now, I like this statement by Zig Ziglar. It says, people don't really care how much you know until they know how much you care for them. I like that little thing. Now, how is change really achieved? It's achieved by bringing hope to a person. Gratitude and understanding has a powerful effect in working with people. Let me explain what I mean by that. We all need hope for the future. In fact, some people, that's all they have, because they may have burned so many bridges. All they have is a little bit of hope coming to see you. I hope they'll understand. I hope. So our job is to strengthen the hope they come in with and bring them new hope. Next one is gratitude. Gratitude is powerful because when you have gratitude, hopelessness has to leave the room. If you're really grateful, what are you grateful for? Are you grateful that you can see? Are you grateful that you can hear? Are you grateful for your life, for your family? When you start looking at gratitude, the lights begin to turn on in your life. Gratitude is powerful. Now, why understanding? Now, understanding is not knowledge. Knowledge is part of understanding, but just to know is not good enough. When you really understand, guess what happens? You have more patience. You have more tolerance. You don't judge as harshly. You don't criticize. Why? Because you understand. Understanding is powerful, and people need to be understood. That's why we say you got to fill their life with hope, gratitude, and understanding. There is no better way. I'm going to read some of the philosophy of NAFFA. Our cultural approach often moves us away from some modern modality treatments, which focuses primarily on medical objectives that are rooted in illness, sickness, or dysfunction. We take the position that the majority of people are not ill or not sick or not broken. We believe and acknowledge that there are some that may be truly ill, but most of them are not, or special assistance may be needed.
Okay.
Our approach basically is this. Like I said, most people are not sick or broken. They've been misled, misguided, misdirected, or misinformed. Our approach is different. We work on someone's self-worth, identity, and bringing purpose to their life. I'm going to briefly discuss these. Now, let's look at self-worth. I'm going to read this to you. Much of a person's self-worth is tied to the safety and well-being as a child and the strength of the relationship to parents. It is important to realize how parents greatly influence their children's lives. How and what they have been taught, both good and bad, is vital in forming self-worth. It is the parents that lay the foundation of life, not schools, churches, friends, or programs. It's the parents. What a person learns at home, believe it or not, lasts the longest. Now, all All important decisions have a direct correlation to someone's self-worth, like friendship patterns, who you marry, and all these things has a direct correlation to your personal self-worth. A strong self-worth brings self-care, self-control, self-motivation, and self-confidence. Taking care of yourself is very important. It doesn't mean you're selfish. It means you're responsible. It means you're finally growing up because you see the importance of taking care of yourself and controlling yourself. Self-worth is important to happiness and our progress in life. We have to have those things in our lives to actually progress in life. You will have peace. You'll have a place. You will place a high value on your personal right to choose. You will learn the value, love, and recognize and embrace truth with a strong self-worth. You will develop the courage to do what is right, not what is easy. A strong self-worth produces a positive attitude towards yourself and towards others. We will learn, understand, even appreciate the hard lessons of life. When you have a strong self-worth, you can look back at your life and see, at the time I wasn't very happy about that, but now I can look back and see, I learned from that experience, although it was difficult, but we must learn from that. Now let's look at personal identity, the perceptions we have about ourselves over the course of our life. This includes our lifestyles, culture, family, and parts of our lives we have no control. For an example, like your race, your gender, your height, all those things have impact on our identity. Identity determines our character. It really does. The challenges, successes of life help create our personal identity. If we had a lot of failures, it's going to affect our identity. Major factors of this. How parents think, talk, and treat their children. It was very important in forming our identity, how parents talk to us and treat us. How we are treated by other people indirectly, like such as friends, peers, and other role models, also have a big impact on our identity. Identity is personal. It is unique and distinguishes us from any other person. Now, this next part is very important to understand. Finding your true identity comes only through and by truth. If people keep secrets from you or don't tell you about where you really come from, it affects you. So remember, finding your true identity comes only through and by truth. It is, in reality, our identity is formed through the choices and actions we take, both good and bad, we take through life. And then we're going to talk to you about purpose. Why purpose? Because when you have a purpose-driven life, it brings you direction in life. It brings you self-discipline. Purpose brings you self-improvement. Purpose brings a greater meaning to our life because we are motivated by purpose, our purpose. Purpose develops self-worth and self-esteem. Now, self-worth and self-esteem are closely related, but they're two separate concepts. Self-esteem relates more to the level of confidence. We don't all feel confident about everything, but our self-worth should be consistent. Purpose also helps us define a plan to overcome our problems. Purpose, we must work towards having a purpose-driven life. Here at NAFFA, we believe that when you have a strong self-worth, a good self-identity, and purpose in your life, this is the source of your personal strength and power, which gives you the ability to solve any and all of life's problem that comes your way. Because we believe you have the capacity to learn how to solve your problems. It doesn't mean you can have heartaches or broken hearts or whatever. You will learn to solve your problem. When your mind and heart connect, you can solve your own problems. Let's talk about forward thinking for a minute, forward looking and forward moving. Forward thinking, forward looking. To bring change to our life, we must be a forward thinking, a forward looking, and a forward moving people. We cannot live or dwell in the past. We are simply bringing positive change because today is just as important as tomorrow, and our past is the past. Let's look at forward thinking. What do we mean by that? When you're forward thinking, you put good things into your mind that will motivate you and inspire you to do good. You may have heard the term falling off the wagon. People who have addiction issues. Why does someone fall off the wagon? From my point of view, the big reason why people fall off the wagon is because they haven't changed the way they think. They keep thinking the same way. If you keep thinking the same way, you'll keep doing the same thing over and over. So we must be a forward-thinking people. We must put ideas into our mind that will stimulate and motivate us to do good things. Forward-looking, seeing past our problems and imperfection, and recognizing your value and your potential. That's very important to do that. But one of the hardest things you're going to do in your life is to control your thoughts. That's perhaps going to be the hardest thing you'll ever do. But when you control your thoughts, you can look beyond your past. Like I said, the past is the past. And your past should not, if it's a bad past, it shouldn't be a life sentence. You can change, you can improve, and you can progress. But we got to be forward-looking, learning and understanding our value as a person and our potential. Forward moving, letting go of experiences and bad memories that hold us back and down. When we look at our past sometimes, it's not the best thing sometimes because we have a lot of trauma in our lives. If we're not careful, those traumas and bad experiences could literally hold us back. You have heard the word oppression. Sometimes we oppress ourselves by our bad memories. If we look at our bad memories, it's easy for someone to become depressed if they look at their past. And if they're not careful, they can have also anxiety looking at their future. I can't do that. I wish I could. So a person can experience both depression and anxiety if they have been oppressed or they oppress themselves. So we must be a forward-moving people, looking past our bad experiences and our memories and looking at how can we get rid of those things. Rather than being stuck in our mistakes, when we truly understand the past, we have clarity on how to improve the present and looking forward with hope and confidence. What we do in our program, we teach people principles. We don't teach them values because values can change. Principles are consistent, they never change. So I'm going to explain to you 5 basic principles that we teach here at NAFFA. We look at the very first one is the creator. Why is the creator at the bottom of this pyramid? Because we say the creator is the foundation of our lives. The second one we'll be talking about is choice, teachable, wisdom, and service. Number 1, the creator. Here at NAFFA, we do not endorse any specific religion, even our Native American practices. Why? Because we say that's the responsibility of mom and dad, not the program. Because we tell people, you need to know what you believe. Not what your mom believes, what your dad believes. What do you believe? When you clarify that and you believe, and you know what you believe, you will begin to defend it. You'll protect it. You'll treasure it because it's your belief. Now, you may believe similar things to your parents, but it needs to be yours. You need to personalize it. Now, the first thing we say is that you must get to know the true nature of the Creator. Ask him, starting off, are you even real? A lot of our young people don't even believe in a Creator. Ask him, are you real? Help me understand who you are. One of the ways you do that is praying. I just remind our young people that Native people are a praying people. Our people, our forefathers for centuries have always embraced the importance of prayer. We got to bring that back to our people. Even many of their songs are prayers. Their dances are prayers. Now, how we define prayer is this way. Prayer, there's only one requirement in a prayer. A lot of our people use things like sage or cedar or corn pollen, tobacco. There's nothing wrong with those things. Even the cross, there's nothing wrong with those things. There's only one requirement in a prayer, and that is, are words sincere? Are they from the heart? And what a prayer do we say this? It's your personal invitation to invite the Creator into your life. He's right here, but he's not going to come unless he's invited. But it takes courage to invite him into your life. So that's what a prayer is. We say spirituality. What is spirituality? Spirituality, we say, is the language. It's a language of a soft, tender, open heart and a mind that is clear and clean. When your heart is soft, tender, and open, and your mind is clear and clean, you will feel the Spirit of the Creator, and he will talk to you. We say there is no spirituality without the Creator. He's the foundation of that whole thing. That's why we say, know what you believe. The next principle we talk about is choice. Why is choice so important? We teach our parents that your spirit is eternal. It will never die. Okay? Now our mortal body will die, but our spirits live on. So we say one of the greatest gifts you have from the Creator is the right to choose. Value that choice. So that's why we say next to life, choice is one of our greatest possessions. And some people just throw it away or give it away. They throw it away to alcohol, for an example, or drugs. In a matter of minutes, that drugs or alcohol will tell you how to walk, how to talk, how to dance, how to do everything. You've forfeited one of your greatest possessions away to something that will know nothing about you or cares nothing about you or your loved ones. The choice, why is choice again so important? Wise choices bring happiness and safety to you and your family and your loved ones. Respect, how we define respect. If you respect yourself, you give yourselves the right to choose. When you respect somebody else, you give them their right to make their own choice. Why? Because that's one of their greatest possessions, the right to choose. So a teachable person has an open mind and a heart. Okay? Choice is powerful and critical to self-worth and identity and purpose. That's why choice is very important in your life's journey. Teachable is the third principle we teach in our program. Teachable. When you're teachable, you are committed and devoted to truth. Why? Because truth, to really be happy, to grow and develop, you must have the right to choose, and hopefully we choose what is correct, truth. Truth you are preparing yourself for change, and change will come easier and faster when you're committed to truth. Without truth, people are confused and can easily be lost. You've heard the term a lost soul. How does someone become lost? Because they're confused, because there's been a lot of lies, deception, and probably secrets in their lives. So they're confused of, do I love you? Do they really love me? Do they really care for me? Because one day they may say, I love you. Next day they hit you, or they yell at you. They may tear you down. So you're confused. Do you love me or don't you love me? So again, teachable is, are we committed and devoted to truth? A teachable person has an open heart and an open mind. Those are very important to understand. So teachable means, are we devoted to truth? The next principle we teach is called wisdom. Wisdom, just because you're old or you have an education doesn't mean you have wisdom. You have a lot of knowledge or a lot of experience, but it doesn't necessarily mean you have wisdom. What is wisdom? Wisdom is the just or fair and correct or truthful use of your knowledge and experience. Knowledge and experience are very important, but you must use your knowledge and experience fairly and truthfully. When you use it fairly and truthfully, guess what will happen? Now you begin to understand. And that's important. That's one of the best things you bring to any relationship, the ability to understand. And that's why I said, when you understand, you have more patience, you have more tolerance, you're not as judgmental, and the list goes on and on. Understanding is critical in forming good relationships and also repairing relationships. Understanding is critical. Courage is the ability to stand for what is right, regardless of what others think. On a pleasant thought, your courage will be tested. Now, one thing about courage you must understand, to really change your life, to improve it, courage is always necessary. You always have to have courage, because it's courage to say yes sometimes or courage to say no. And that's why people don't understand the importance of courage. It is essential when it comes to changing your lives. With both understanding and courage, now you have wisdom. So now that you've been involved, so now you understand and you have courage. Now, when you combine those two together, you have wisdom. The last principle we teach here is called service. Why do you serve people? Because when you serve people, guess what? You begin to know them. You begin to understand them very well because you serve them. Service equals caring and helping and caring for other people. Okay? Service brings Service begins by making people feel welcome, wanted, accepted, and appreciated. Like when somebody comes to your office, the first thing you must try to do is make them feel welcome, wanted, and appreciated. When you serve someone, guess what? They become real to you, just as real as your hand. Your hand serves you every day. If your hand is gone, you're going to miss that hand tremendously. So again, when you serve someone, they become real to you. Now, sacrifice is a higher level of service. You have service here, and when you sacrifice for your family, it's a higher level of service. Now they really become real because you have sacrificed. Now let's look at a mother or a father. You have sacrificed your time, your energy, your resources, maybe even your career to serve your children. They are just as real can be. I get a big kick out of people. I say, you ask people sometimes, how many I ask people, how many of you would lay your life down for your children? Everybody raises their hand. I just remind them, if you haven't served your children, you haven't served or sacrificed, laying your life down probably will never come. That's a good thing to say, but it's not going to happen. But when you served your family, served your children, and you sacrifice for your family and your children, you will willingly, and I repeat, you will willingly lay your life down for your family, for your loved ones, because you serve them and you've sacrificed for them. They're just as real can be. Now, understand something here, that it's the small and simple things of life that make great things happen. When I work with people, I tell them, tell me something that you remember in your childhood. It's always so small and simple but had great impact on their memory. So again, it's the small and simple things of life that make great things happen. Not the big things, but the small and simple things. Saying things like, I love you. I care for you. You make me happy. I'm glad you're mine. I'm sorry. Apologizing. Those are small and simple things, but they have great significance. Now, we talk about adversity. Adversity is going to come. Life is part of adversity. Why? There's opposition in all things. Up, down, hot, cold, light, dark, happiness, misery. There's opposition in all things. Now, understand something. There's a reason for opposition. When we have opposition in this world, there's a reason for it. You know why? Because if there was no opposition, our choices would be null and void. Opposition what allows us to choose to go one way or the other. So opposition is critical for choice. Now, when we have opposition, we may also have adversity, okay? Hard times. Now, adversity, it can be an opportunity to become reacquainted with the Creator, that we remind our clients that. Because why? Your hearts are soft, tender, open, and you're looking for answers. It's an opportunity to become reacquainted with the Creator. Let's talk about communication, not about families. All communication skills are learned, which tells us we can learn new and different methods of communicating to improve our relationships. How we communicate with our loved ones, really tells us how we think and feel about them. Think about it for a while. If someone just says yes, no, and kind of ignores you, it tells a lot. Okay, but if they sit and listen to you and listen to learn, it tells a lot about them too. Unfortunately, we often communicate better with the outside world than we do with our own family. Because in our families, many times we tend to lecture them, preach to them, condemn them, shame them out. What's it doing to our relationships if we do that? Family communication should always be uplifting, make them feel welcome and important, express our love and appreciation. Let me tell you about appreciation, how important appreciation is. When you're really appreciated, when you really are, when you know you're appreciated, you know what? You will willingly give more of yourself. You'll do more, and you'll even put up with more if you really appreciate it. You don't want to be taken for granted. And this is expressed in your communication, how you communicate with your family. Acknowledgement. Acknowledge the importance of other people. They need to understand it. Even the simplest thing can be misunderstood. Good and positive communication is a blessing to a family. It's not a burden, it's a blessing. Now, this is the part that's very important, interaction. I'm a marriage and family therapist by profession. And people don't realize that many times that interaction is much more important, much more valuable than communication. Today we have this little thing called the telephone. People just say, they text, I love you, or they say, bye, I love you. That's not interaction, that's communication. Okay? Interaction, you gotta be present. So I'm gonna say interaction is much more than communication. It's observation and being available, being present. Now, interaction is being an active participant with actively participating with other people, meaning eye contact, hearing their voice, looking at their body movement, looking at their gestures. You're actually involved with them. Okay, interaction. Both parents. Interaction bonds parents to children and children to each other. Today, parents just give their kid a phone or a laptop. Entertain yourself. Kids need that bonding from their parents, that interaction. Interaction plants love and joy deep in the hearts and minds of our family members because you're actually giving them your time, which is one of the most precious things you have right now is your time. We understand time is very limited. So when you give your time to somebody else, it shows to them that you really care, particularly parents to their children. Let's talk about family violence now for a minute. In our program, we say this. We define family violence as true identity theft. And identity theft, is illegal. When somebody steals your credit cards or your driver's license or personal information, that's a crime, okay? So like I said, we consider domestic violence as true identity theft. Now, it generally starts this way from my experience. It starts by criticizing your the partner. Why, when you start criticizing, you're starting to belittle, push that person down. That's why we say uplift them, uplift the people you have, uplift, okay? Because when you start criticizing, you start elevating yourself above your loved ones. This creates reckless words and actions, destroy self-worth, identity, and purpose, okay? And people become lost because do you love me or do you care for me? You say one thing, but you do just the opposite. So again, those things can be very harmful to an individual and for family relationships. Let's look at family violence very specifically. Family violence cheats and robs yourself and loved ones. Family violence leads others to feel left out. I don't belong. I'm not needed. It points loved ones in the wrong direction. I'm more important than you. It creates stress and pressure for the whole family. It really does. Family violence can have long-term harmful effects on a child and a family. People carry that with them for years into adolescence, into adulthood, into aging. And I really wanted. Family violence is destructive to the body, mind, and spirit, to children, adolescents, and adults. Family violence is destructive to everybody. It really affects us. I wish we had time to talk more about it, but time is limited. Violence and abuse destroys the personal liberties and freedom of others. That's what we're doing. We're destroying someone's liberty and freedom from family violence. It disregards, disrespects, and slowly destroys the entire family. Through family violence, I've found throughout my practice, the person that's violent, literally kicks themselves out of a good relationship, whether it's to a spouse or to family members, sometimes even the entire family. Remember, they kick themselves out of a good relationship. Family violence and abuse brings suffering, misery, and can eventually bring destruction to the whole family. Family violence and abuse greatly destroys the perception of life. Why? Our perception becomes distorted. We don't see things in its really form because we read a lot of things into it. We learn that through family violence. Sometimes our perceptions are really off target because they have become distorted. That's why violence and abuse does all kinds of ugly things to people. Let's talk about hope for a minute. Hope is not knowledge, it is trust and confidence in the future. Hope empowers us to better see the future. Hope has the power to fill our lives with happiness, love, peace, and helps us overcome our problems. That's what hope does. When hope is absent, our hearts and mind begin to shut down. It really does. Hope is directly related to gratitude and humility. With a lot of hope, guess what? When you have a lot of gratitude and you're humble, hope is always present. Now, hope is not wishful thinking or fantasizing about a better future. It's believing in a better future. Now, hope is also centered in the Creator. He's the one that brings us real hope. Let's look at hopelessness. Hopelessness means the reduction of hope. Hope is reduced. Negative feelings and helplessness begins to set in. Self-doubt, wanting to quit, begins to come about. Despair, on the other hand, is where hope is completely gone. It's lost. This is when people begin to look at suicide as an option in life for them. Great unhappiness, sorrow, unable to find meaning in life comes from despair. Despair kills ambition. It causes sickness, and we start walking through life all alone. And when that happens, life can become very scary, very lonely, because the hope is gone. That completes my presentation. I hope it was helpful to you. Again, I want you to have a good time, a good conference where you're at right now. And I leave you with my love and appreciation. And if you're ever in Arizona, please feel free to stop by. I would love to visit and meet with you. Thank you.